What's up? Welcome back. It's my third stream for the day. I did a little bit of housekeeping on my last stream. I learned that I have people who actually use my product, who use the product for the company that I work at. And they were tuning into the live stream. So I was like, oh, well, now that I know that people are actually watching this, let me do a little bit of organization. So I just created a new playlist. So if you're someone who likes watching my virtual live streams, there's actually like the co-working. I have a new playlist for that now. It's called Virtual Co-working. And from here on out, those live streams will be called Virtual Co-working, followed by the date. These types of live streams will be called After Hours, whenever I'm just hanging out. And then my dev logs will continue to exist, but they will mostly focus on tech kind of stuff. The After Hours is mostly just like, it's going to be a grab bag. I don't really have an agenda. I may end up doing some work code type stuff, but we'll see. We'll see. So I just want to have space for not my actual projects that I'm working on. So it's just like random stuff. There are some things that I could do, right? Like I can edit this video. Yeah, I gotta edit this video. There is a restaurant that I went to that I also want to edit the video for that. I got some other footage I need to edit. I got a lot of stuff. This content stuff, like editing, is a lot. I also have some mini projects that I need to complete. Number one is moving off of Adobe. I've already done phase one of the project, and that is to back up everything that's in Lightroom, CC, Cloud, whatever they call it these days. Back that up locally on my NAS over there. And then second phase is to create an encrypted volume to put my photos and videos into. And then the next phase is to figure out a way to like get that synced into Dropbox. So I want it all automated, right? Obviously, if I just dumped it on my hard drive and then just sent it straight up to Dropbox, that would be the easiest thing. But of course, I had to make this complicated. I want to have encryption. I want to make sure that whatever I'm putting on their computers, it's encrypted by me. Screw them. Like I'm not gonna let them, tell me, oh, it's end-to-end encrypted. I don't care. I want to have my own encryption, and then they can re-encrypt my encrypted stuff. And then I never have to worry about these companies taking my data and doing things that I don't agree with. So that's kind of, some other things that I have planned. I also have some reviews planned. So maybe I can start collecting my thoughts on all of the things. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and just jump into figuring out what needs to be done in my life. Yeah. Fuck that. All right, so we're gonna do what? Can we do this? We're gonna call this Ducati. Actually, I'll put these under headers for now. So we'll have the Ducati SFV4S. We have the DJI Action 4. We got the DJI Pocket 3. We have the Fuji X100V. I just never did a review on that. We got the Zoom H4e. These are all reviews. So maybe I'll make that even clearer that these are reviews by doing this, reviews. We'll make all of this junior. All right. The other thing, and I guess we could, I don't know, like, is it worth doing this a mic update? What's up, status? I'm trying to get organized somewhat, maybe. my thought process is that if I can figure out a system, you know, to organize myself in the future, when I want to scale this, I can scale it easily, and I can maybe get help, you know, for the different things that need to be done. So that's kind of what's happening here. I'm just finally getting to the point where it's like, all right, I'm overwhelmed by not having any type of planning. So let's start planning, you know. I'm thinking about you know, some content for videos that I'm gonna do, and for now I have some reviews. There might be some other like types of things, you know. There can be like reaction type of stuff or commentary videos. So it could be this commentary. I can also have educational. All right, so one of the things that popped up last time in last stream, someone was saying build GPT-2. Yeah, build GPT-2. What is this? I think somebody was talking about a language, but I don't know if I want to do that. I think that's, you know, pretty, it's a very competitive space, and I think that it's already well served by the people who are doing that kind of content. Oh, yeah, I forgot there's some other things that I need to review. This is the Revit motorcycle jacket. All right, wait, okay. We'll do food. So that we can have like a restaurant reviews. We'll just call it restaurants. And then we'll have cooking. And then there's another thing. It's, I don't know if you want to classify it as cooking, or I'm sorry, as food. But I had a concept where I wanted to go to all of the grocery stores here in the city. So in Texas, we have H-E-B, we have Kroger's, Randall's, Sprouts, Whole Food Market, Central Market, which is just the, you know, it's the nicer H-E-B. it's the H-E-B in the bougie part of the city where I live. So go there, as well as some of the like other specialty stores like Phoenicia or H-Mart or even Walmart and Target, I guess. I don't really shop there, but the thinking is that it's not really a thought. I want to know. I have a question. I don't know if anybody knows this, so I'm going to go figure it out. I want to know, are prices different in different areas of the city? I know that we do price discrimination online. So if you don't know this, you're about to learn that that's actually what happens. So if, you know, if you go to a website and they geolocate you to a certain area, zip code or whatever, you're going to pay based off of that zip code, based off of what they think you have. So you may see entirely different prices than I see. I know that there are certain companies that are upfront about it, but they call it purchasing parity. So, or purchasing power parity or something like that. Purchase parity power. I don't know. Those three P's. Where, you know, certain countries, they will lower the price to reflect the same purchasing power, versus to say, you know what, because it costs $10 here in America, it's going to cost $10 in India. Obviously, $10 in India is very different. That's a lot of money. So, you know, the purchasing parity stuff, that actually is a form of price discrimination based off of where you live. And a lot of these companies, they just do it automatically based off your IP address. All right, cool. So I'll keep it simple for now. So we're gonna have to do some linking or whatever, like figure out what I want to talk about, you know, for the SFE, the Street Fighter. So I already had, I think, some ideas. I would like to do a 0 to 100 test before we'll do this. So we'll do 0 to 100 tests before tune and exhaust, or exhaust and tune. And then I also want to do the same thing, 100 to 200. make this a checklist. And then we'll kind of just copy these for the most part. So we'll do before. Oops. All right. I don't know what's going on here. So we'll do after. All right. What's up, Kyle? How you doing? What's up, Video Changer? How you doing? Actually, I will say 2 riding seasons. So they'll say within technically 3 riding seasons. Riding season for me is when it's not stupid hot and when it's not stupid cold. So, so I don't know, maybe like 7 months out of the year, if that. We'll see. So we'll say within 3 riding seasons. I've already been doing some stuff with this, but I should probably be a little bit more, I guess, reviewy, I guess. So at the moment, what I'm trying to figure out is the best setting. So maybe, yeah, we'll say best settings for motovlogging. And I'll also do a, oops, wait, what? Why is that weird? Interesting, that's weird. Okay, all right, fine. What are y'all up to? I know I'm about to be up to editing this video after I do a little bit of this right here. So I've already done low light testing, but I kind of want to, I guess, push myself to do better with Final Cut, because, you know, Final Cut's like the bane of my existence. Maybe not even Final Cut, maybe just video editing in general. I'm about to turn off the music. I'm about to start editing. Yeah, it would be cool if I can get to, you know, DaVinci, I guess, because it seems like Apple just doesn't care. Plus, there might be I don't know, there could be a possibility in the future. You know, my time on Apple's platform might be limited. I'm not a fan of what they've done. Oh, wait, how do I, wait, okay. All right, I have a scene that I want to switch to, but it's not on my Stream Deck. So let me update my Stream Deck. What the hell is this? Move that down here. All of these. Move those down here. Move my marker up here. We'll move preview mode to here, and then we'll publish to there. All right, so we gotta make a new, shit, that's not what I wanted to do. We'll copy and then paste. I don't know why this is so tiny. I can barely see this. Oh, okay, never mind. That's stupid. It grows with the size of the window. All right, so this scene is going to be called Talk. I didn't have a good name for it. I just called it Talk. All right, cool. Now I should be, oh shit, it's not where I want it to be. closed it a little bit too soon. We'll put camera A down here. We'll put, oh, wow. Talk was already here. I'm dumb. Look at that. I'm stupid. Shit. Okay. We'll delete that. Okay. All right. There we are. So we have my screen with me and then without me. And then we have my camera guest, which we don't need to worry about right now. All right, cool. So I guess I'm not going to edit this video yet. I'm about to, there was a video or some videos that I wanted to go over. So I'll do that first. All right, I just randomly saw a video. I don't know what it is, but I like the title, so we're gonna watch it. Hold on, let me go to the thumbnail. See, I just saw that. I was like, oh yeah, sure, yeah. I vibe with that. So switching to Linux if Apple goes full blown AI and not able to turn it off. Well, that's kind of where they're already going. I wasn't a fan of the WWDC announcement in general. Like, I mean, overall, it was kind of lackluster, but I'm not a fan of them integrating AI at the OS level where I can't opt out. Like, I personally don't care about AI. And when I mean I don't care, I mean like I don't care to have it. I'm not saying I don't care that it's on my device. I don't even want it, to be honest. I guess I don't know. All of these new technologies, what have they actually done for us as humans? Like really? Here, I'm gonna bring up a thing. I know I said we were gonna watch this. I don't know what it is, but I want to at least start it. But let's look up the happiness index. Is it the Gini happiness index? I really don't want. Let's just see the happiness index over time. This is it. I just want to see a graph. There was a time when Google would be useful for things like this, but it's gotten worse. Yeah, this is showing me all the things. I don't want to see that. I want just a graph. Just a simple graph. I know it exists somewhere. It's not useful to me to see where we are now. I want to see where we are over time. I feel like I said that in the thing, right? Happiness index over time. God dang, there's a lot of freckles. All right. General happiness. This is for US from 1973 to 2016. Obviously, we had some things going on in this time period. Probably one of those wars. And then I'm pretty sure that this right here could be the tail end of what the Iranian shit, where there were like oil embargoes or something, gas went up, interest rates were really high. So we went down. But like even though we went down, what I'm noticing is that the lowest we ever were, this is likely 2008, most likely. And then we kind of rebound a little bit, and now we're going back downhill. I would be curious to know where we are now in 2024. So let's see where this ends. This ends at, we'll just do general. This ends at about 2.16. Let's see. Index US 2024. Is this Genie? Who is this? Shit. Oh, Let's just read the reports. Explore the data. Look at that. Open the dashboard. Okay, so we got 2024. Let's look at the United States. Why are we looking at life evaluation? I don't know if I care about that right now. Or is that the happiness score? I don't know. Oh, okay, we're at 6.73 right now. All right, let's look to see where we were 2023. 6.9. Wait, I forgot. Yeah, so lower. Lower. It's 21. Lower. When I'm saying lower, I mean like 2024 is lower than all of these. It would be cool if I could select all of these. Maybe I can. Nope. Who wants to see things over time, right? Like, it's fine just to, we'll just look at a report one by one and I'll just map it out. So we went from 6.89 down to 6.73. Now I don't understand this particular report. Like I'm only familiar with the Gini stuff, but this is good to know, that this exists. And how do we get data out? Okay, there's a data figure. So I see this is the same message. I'm looking at the world happiness data for 2024, and I forgot why I don't know. I forgot how I even ended up here, but I became intrigued. So I was like, oh, let me look through it. Here, I'll show you the link where you can get it. So you can come in to explore the data. And one of the things that I was looking to see if the United States leads in anything, and we don't. We're not in the top 20. I noticed that a lot of folks here like to give the Middle East shit, and they like to talk about how like the Middle East ain't great. I used to live in the Middle East, and when I was there, I was much happier than here. And it's actually very interesting to me that UAE ranks ahead of the United States of America in happiness. It's kind of interesting. For the most part, we're neck and neck. Let's see here. Where it seems like we lead is maybe on social support, maybe. Yeah, we lead on social support. Surprisingly, we lead Singapore on that. There are a few countries that like I know a little bit about, and I keep track of certain things, and that's one of them. Yeah, Singapore is at number 30. Where's Peru? Wow, Taiwan is below Singapore. That's interesting. I wanted to go to Kazakhstan. Have you ever seen that Louis C.K. skit where he talks about how everyone complains and no one is happy? I don't know. I haven't seen Louis C.K. You're not talking about his show, are you? He had a show, right? I forget what it was called. You're not talking about his show. You're talking about like one of his stand-ups or something. I may have, like a long time ago. Everything is amazing. Nobody's happy is what it's called. Well, that's kind of the wavelength I'm on right now with all this technology and all this BS. It seems like I don't think it seems like. I think this is the case. We are trapping, and when I say we, I really mean the I'm gonna say BlackRock. How about that? Like all of these major asset management companies that have trillions of dollars worth of assets under management. I think that they are ruining society. They are prioritizing profits beyond everything, and now we have these yearly I don't even know how to explain it. I can't even articulate it right now, but I can give an example. Every year a new iPhone comes out. Every year a new laptop comes out. Every year a new something comes out. And when that new something comes out, people aren't even satisfied. They're already talking about the next thing. Here's a very good example of that, a concrete example. Whenever the iPhone 15 came out, everybody on YouTube, they're already talking about the iPhone 16. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. Or this idea that everything that's new is good. That's kind of what I feel like. At least, I don't know. I kind of hate to talk down, but like it's hard not to, because it seems like it's not the smartest of us. It's not the ones who have who think the most critically, who are rising to the top and becoming thought leaders. It seems like it's the most average amongst us who are becoming the thought leaders. And as a non-average person, I don't like the fact that it's the average that's now leading, right? Like I don't know. Obviously I haven't thought much into this. This is, just me talking right now. I don't really have a good grip on what all these things mean or how to even explain it. It was on late night talk show. I think I heard it. Maybe also stand up. I may have seen it a long time ago. It was this years ago when this skit happened, or whatever his routine was, or whatever you call them. I don't know the names. I would be lying if I told you I wasn't tired. I'm actually kind of tired, and I'm actually amazed that China is ranked up high. It's not that high, but like it's not that low either. And what kind of sucks is that all of these countries below Azerbaijan are in Africa. Nigeria, Cameroon, Namibia, Morocco, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mauritania, Gambia, Chad, Kenya, Tunisia, Uganda, Ghana, Liberia, Mali, Madagascar, Togo. I don't think that's in Africa. Egypt's in Africa, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Zambia. Yemen's off the coast of Africa. we'll give it to them. Malawi, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Congo, Sierra Leone. All of these countries are in Africa. Man, that's unfortunate. I'm pretty sure they had a map where we can see it spatially. Maybe that'll be a little bit easier to grok a little bit. Yeah. Most of sub-Saharan Africa is not great. Egypt is not great. I want to say, is this Tunisia? I think this is Tunisia. Yeah, it is. By the way, I don't know if y'all know this or knew this. The what is it called? Was it the Arab Spring? Is that what it was? I think that's what it was. That whole that movement that happened about a decade ago. That started in Tunisia, where a guy self-immolated himself, or I guess he set himself on fire to protest, and that caused a sweeping movement across MENA. So, like these regions here. But have y'all noticed that, every year we get new stuff and supposedly everything is better, but have any of you noticed has your life actually improved as a result of all of this new better shit that we supposedly have? Because when I reflect, I don't think my life has improved by any of these things. And it really got me thinking when Apple did their whole Apple Intelligence bullshit, and they're like, oh, iOS and all these things. I'm just like, I don't know. It's just not resonating. It seems vapid, like empty. It's just like, it's almost like they are shipping stuff because someone told them that that's what they're supposed to do, so they're going to ship something. I'm finding myself not having any type of imagination for what these new things are going to enable us to do. In fact, more and more, I feel like these things aren't enabling us to do anything, but they are essentially trapping us. Why are we in a rush? It's like we're fucking running downhill top speed in a rush to have other things make decisions for us. And I'm just like, I don't know. That goes against something in me. I can't say it's a belief because, to be honest, I don't know what I believe in. Like, real talk. But it's a feeling. It's like I don't know, it's just a feeling that I get. Like, it just makes me uneasy. And I don't think it's rooted in any belief system. It just doesn't feel right. I went through this, by the way, when when I left the workforce for a couple years, where when I was reflecting back on my experience working in tech, I didn't really fully buy into I didn't fully drink the Kool-Aid, but some things I did kind of believe. This idea that you go into, like, let's say, for instance, you're trying to get into a top tech company. Like in my case, it wasn't really money at that point in time. It was just like, it's just cool. I like being around the smartest people. But over time, you get this idea that, you're building the future. Everything that you're doing is improving the world. And, your work is meaningful. But when I left, and I was in Africa for a few months, I realized that that's all bullshit. Why? Well, you don't like the shit that we have don't work in Africa. And it's not just Africa. In parts of the Middle East, in parts of Central Asia, in parts of Europe, even in parts of South America, that shit don't work. Internet connection isn't there. Also, the culture isn't there. Like a lot of the rest of the world, they still talk to one another in person. They still, they still interact with one another, and they're not as atomized as we are here, where everyone here is kind of like independent on their own, in their own little world. Somehow we have these cell phones, but for whatever reason, we're farther apart than ever. How is it the case that now that we have the ability to message someone instantaneously at the speed of light, and we know that it will get there, and we know that they receive it? How is it that now, when we have all these communication tools, IT, information technology, we have all these things to enable communication, but we seem to be doing less of it? Have you noticed that? Or is it just me? Maybe it's just me. I think some ancient religions touch on this stuff too. Greek philosophers, the Buddha, etc. They get disillusioned about society. Is this Diogenes? I don't know how you say that. The Diogenesis. Diogenes? I don't know how you say that. The Greek philosopher is your spirit animal. I can appreciate what philosophers do, some of it. They do attempt to articulate into language, I guess, human condition, and try to communicate that he's the father of cynicism. I'm a little tired, not tired. What's the word? Let me turn down this music. It's loud. Believe it or not, music affects my ability to concentrate, which is why when I'm working, I generally don't have music on. For what it's worth, I'm very musically inclined, so I don't listen to music the way that normal people listen to music. It's hard for me to just hear music these days. Yeah, like I'm a little bit, I don't know if cynicism is great either. I think that what you believe manifests itself. Like, you embody your beliefs. Okay, so I guess what I mean by that is, there's what you say, and then there's what you do. And I just realized that for whatever reason, it was on something else. There's what you say, and then there's what you do. And I think that what you do is the embodiment of your beliefs, because you act out your beliefs. And if you are someone who's cynical, and I mean, I'm guilty of this too sometimes, I think that if you're someone who's cynical and you mostly see the worst in things, or you think that things will become worse, I think that is true. It's true for you especially, but let's say that society as a whole becomes cynical. Then I think that that manifests itself into reality, because I mean, what is society but a bunch of people, and what is the human condition but, you know, the culmination of our decisions that we act out. So I don't know, I'm a little, I don't know. There's a lot of me not knowing. I don't know a lot of things right now. But at the same time, I'm trying to not have a negative view on things that I don't know yet. And maybe, you know, when I think about it, it is harder to be positive than it is to be negative. It's harder to see the light than it is to like see that things aren't working well. So I'm wondering if, you know, if we just need to do a better job of looking at the good. And I'm sure that, you know, I'm not the only person who's been, let's say you may have all been affected by someone who only sees the bad and refuses to see the good. The best example I can give is in a relationship. Like if you are with someone and, you know, that person, all they can do is see what's wrong, and they never acknowledge what's good or what's great or what's, you know, what's true or what's good. I'll just use those two terms. If they never acknowledge that, then that's a problem, right? Right? That doesn't lead to good things. Yeah, we are hard. I mean, are we though? Are we hardwired to focus on only negative things, or is that conditioned through our environment? That whole nature versus nurture. Is that actually what we naturally do? Or is that something that's nurtured within us in our society? Because the fact that, you know, this happiness index that we were just looking at, how is it that, you know, one country is, you know, all the way up here, 7.7, but then we know we have a spread. We have a spread of 1.72. Like, so whatever that is. Here, we'll see this. Can we do an IQR? No. All right, we'll do the max of B2 to B144 minus the min of that same range, B2, B144. Ah, shit, no. Don't delete it. Okay, there we go. No, I will correct it myself. I've had enough of this thing trying to correct shit, and then, okay, fuck it, correct it. There we are. So yeah, it's a spread of like 6. So I think we have to intentionally focusing on the good. I don't think I disagree with you. Yeah, I don't think I disagree with that. But then on that same note, is that what God is? That focus on what's good and what's true? Or I can go with the classic, the liberal arts, you know, the original idea behind universities, you know, what's true, what's beautiful, and yeah, I forgot the other word. I can't think right now. I just said it. Just scroll back a little bit. The first two, and then add in the beautiful. That. Oh, good. What's good, true, and beautiful? Those things, right? So, like, is that what, you know, God is? It's hard to say. I don't know. All right. In the meantime, though, let's see what this person has to say about the reason people don't like you. I'm curious, before I play this, does anyone care, like really care about being liked? And when I say anyone, I mean here. I mean, obviously I know there are people, but I don't know. I've never understood why people care about what other people think about them. Or seriously, like, I have had conversations with people and they're so concerned with how other people look at them, and I just don't understand. In my mind, I'm like, why do you care? Just stop caring. But some of these people can. I'm just curious: can someone maybe educate me into why it matters what other people think of you? All right, let me pause this music and let's get into this video. I think I should turn this up slightly and then we'll turn off these things. Yes, I know y'all can see all of my apps. It's fine. This mode that I'm in, I have purposely set it up recently so that whenever I click on, you can see it. I should probably turn that off because I'm now realizing that there are certain things that I click on that nobody needs to be seeing. I think it's a waste of giving. I don't care. But I think people also want to feel socially accepted. But all right, let's get into like, what does social acceptance mean? Right? Like, how can I put it? Let's say that, you know, my culture, right? Like socially, right? Socially, what's like good, I'm using air quotes here. What's good in my culture is essentially degenerate shit. Like, listen to, you know, the music that's coming out of hip hop, the culture of hip hop, not, you know, I know like you may think it's a genre, but the culture is hip hop, which is a subculture of African American. And then we have rap. And then, you know, we it's not necessarily good, or like, you know, it's culturally a bad thing where I'm from to be smart or to be well spoken or to articulate your thoughts or to even have thoughts, contrary to, you know, some of the stuff that, you know, we're just spoon fed. And yeah, I don't know. I guess I've never understood it. I never cared to be accepted by my own people, which is, and it's not to say I wasn't or not. It's just I never gave a shit because I didn't really look at them with respect. It was just like, I don't know. It's like, I'm trying to say it without being rude, but like fundamentally, I just didn't respect the people. So it's like, I never cared to be accepted. Even when I was, it was just like, yeah, I'm good. Like, y'all do y'all dumb shit over there. I'm good with that. I guess it was the opposite. It was me not accepting that. Right? It could have been the opposite, but I've never understood the desire to be accepted by a group of people, as if that group of people is somehow superior. In my mind, when I see a group of people who think alike, I see sheep. My last name is Shepherd, so I see a lot of things as sheep. Okay, it's just like I see sheep. It's just like a group of people. They all, you know, they don't have any of their own opinions. They kind of just parrot, you know, the opinion of the group. Ultimate groupthink. You're not exiled from the kingdom. What do you mean I'm not exiled from the kingdom? What do you mean? See, I'm gonna start this and we'll play it kind of in the background, I guess, here and there.
Everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay.
By the way, this is from a person called the David. Wait, the David Boland? Sure, him. I don't know. I'll go ahead and like it. No, let's
It's
play it.
filled with people who, no matter what you do, no matter what you try, will simply not like you. But the world is also filled with those who will love you fiercely. The ones who love you, they are your people. Don't waste your finite time and heart trying to convince people who aren't your people that you have value. They will miss it completely. They won't buy what you are selling. Don't try to convince them to walk your path with you, because you will only waste your time and your emotional good health. You are not for them, and they are not for you. You are not their cup of tea, and they are not yours. Politely wave them along, and you move away as well.
All right, so I'm kind of listening, but I kind of like what he's done. I would like to do something, not necessarily with the talking, but like I would want to try creating something like this, like finding really cool shots and just seeing what I can do with it. I didn't mean specifically. I was answering your question. What does social acceptance even mean? Uh, oh, I see. So it means you're not exiled from the kingdom. Is that so bad though? When you Is it bad because most people aren't able to live alone or survive alone, I should say. And I'm not saying that I don't, like, depending on what environment you throw me in, I may not survive, and I already know that. But there are certain environments, like if it's what I grew up in, like this environment, and you put me in the wilderness, I'll probably be okay. But if you put me somewhere else where I don't know anything, I'll probably perish. Maybe who knows? If the kingdom is deranged, then it's not so bad. Have y'all? So hold on. I think I created a playlist.
Seek to share your path.
Oh wait, let me try to get through this first.
Those who recognize and appreciate your gifts, who you are, be who you are. I think that we have this misconception that.
Wait a minute. Wait, did y'all hear that transition? That edit, that's dope. Hold on, I gotta go back. I like the little details here. I'm gonna turn it up slightly. So we'll go back 5 more seconds, I guess.
Who you are.
Right here.
I think that we have this.
That was dope. That was a dope transition. Everything about it worked. You had the music with the lyrics. It matches the title. And then you had some silence. And then it breaks in with the sound effect of the paper. And then it's I love you. And then, man, that was dope. Yeah, and then the second cut, right when the music comes back on. Yeah, I like this so far.
Conception that you're supposed to go about life having everybody like you, and that to be liked is a good thing and to be disliked is a bad thing. The thing about good and bad is that they're completely subjective based on our previous experiences in life, based on how things went down in our family when we grew
up. Great. Thank you. I'm curious. Do y'all agree with that? What he just said? I don't know if I fully agree. When he says the thing about good and bad is that it's based on your previous experiences. I don't know if I agree with that. And I guess my reason for that is there seems to be some very universal things that we as humans seem to agree are bad, at least in my experience. And I'm not just talking about here in America. I'm talking about, I've been to so many different places, with vastly different cultures and value systems and beliefs and experiences. For the most part, it seems that most people, and I say most, think that it is bad to kill another human, and that it is good to encourage life. And I don't know if that's based off of previous experiences, right? Because that's our our MO, our modus operandi, right? Like that's our goal is to ensure life, that our survival. And then I guess secondary is that we continue the survival of the greater human race. And that seems to be instilled in us. Not from our culture, not from our education, but that just seems to be instilled in us. And maybe part of the reason why, we're going through so much trial and tribulation here in our country is that we have people who are actively pushing against that, who are trying to reject that. And the problem is that those people have infiltrated into our legal system and are basically making it to where it's very hard to live your life the way that I think is naturally intended. And I'm saying I think because I want to say that I might have a better handle on life and how this world works than someone who doesn't even know what the fuck they are. You know what I'm saying? Get where I'm going? Yeah, there are some universe. Yeah, that's what I think, right? Like, and it's not just with us. For instance, why is it when, and this has happened often, there are videos of this, when a person in certain areas appears to be drowning, why is it that dolphins will try to save that person? Where did they learn that from? Or let's say you have a dog. I have a dog. And, if they sense any kind of danger, their first, I don't know, their first action is to jump in and try to protect you. So, I don't know, it kind of begs the question. It's like, maybe it's more than just previous experiences. Maybe it's something that is beyond what we can see. And that's something that I'm very aware of, as well as open to, because obviously I did ayahuasca. And yeah. Yeah. And I think we know scientifically that there are more than 3 dimensions, just the X, Y, and Z, or I guess if you want to do width, height, and depth, or, like there's more than those in the universe, but we are 3-dimensional beings and we can only experience or perceive life in those 3 dimensions. Which begs the question, if we can only experience things in these 3 dimensions for the most part, how do we know there aren't things above, like in higher order dimensions that we cannot see or interact with or even comprehend because they don't operate in the same way that we do? There's this thought experiment that some physicists do. I think it's also maybe philosophers who do it too, maybe. But they go from 1-dimensional to 2-dimensional to 3-dimensional, and they kind of, say, if you were a 1-dimensional being, it's basically like you're on a line, right? Like that's all you know. You don't see anything but a line. There's nothing, to the left or right. There's nothing below. It's just like you just see that one point, and that's your entire frame of reference. You can't escape that. So let's say that you have you have 2 lines, and you're gonna have to use some spatial reasoning for this. But let's say that we are in our 3-dimensional world, okay? But we're going to constrain some entity into 1-dimensional world. By the way, we do this in AI. Back when I was studying, so we reduce the dimensionality of the world for that particular entity or agent or whatever you want to call it. All right, but in our world, we have a line that are in parallel. They're parallel lines. If we look at it, I guess front on, if we have 2 lines, we see one line above another line. However, the entity that's on the line, they won't see the line below because, well, there's no way to see around it, right? Like you have that line blocking. But if they're on the line below and they look up, all they would see is basically darkness because, the line would be covering everything in their frame of reference. So, if they're the 1-dimensional being, if they're on the bottom line, there is no way that they can jump the gap to the top line and vice versa. And then they expand it to be, you have a sheet of paper on a plane. And so, just, I guess that's the easiest example of a plane. So you take a slice of 3-dimensional space and now you have an extra dimension in which to work with. So now you can go more than just forward and backwards. You can also go, I'm gonna call it left and right. You can go left and right, forwards, backwards, diagonal, all of the mix in between. However, when you get to the edges of that, we'll call it a universe or that frame of reference, you can't go beyond that because like that is the end of your frame of reference. You can't see over that line because, if you're 1 dimension, even though you have 2 dimensions, when you get to your 1-dimensional line, you can't necessarily see over it because you don't have the dimensionality to look over it, right? Like if you're at where the line is, all you see is a fence around you, right? Like it's a fence. And we're much the same way, right? Where we experience and perceive and think in 3-dimensional space. So whatever is beyond that is very hard for us to imagine. And I mean, if you don't believe that, just draw a 4-dimensional shape, like a hypercube. Like I don't think most people can comprehend a hypercube.
In life, based on how things went down in our family when we grew up, based on what happened to us. Everybody is in the same boat. The thing is, what's good for me is not good for you. What's bad for me might not be bad for you.
Yeah, here's a hypercube. This is a projection of a hypercube. So it's my understanding, and it's very limited. I suck at geometry. I'm not even gonna lie. This is part of the reason why I dropped out of engineering. Was because my spatial reasoning is not as strong as some other people's. But my understanding of any shape that we draw on a two-dimensional space is inherently a projection of that. And I think that that's very obvious to see. At least it is to me. Up until 3 dimensions. I guess 4 dimensions. I can understand it in 4 dimensions, but past that I can't. I just don't. I'm not smart enough. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you were to take a sphere and you were to shine a light on it and you looked at the shadow's going to make a circle. So you are reducing the dimensionality of your circle by 1 dimension. So you're going from 3D to 2D, right? Like a 2D is a circle. If we were to go to 1D, it would be a point. Which is interesting because circles do go to a point if you go up and down, right? Like, you get to the top of the circle, bottom of the circle, that's a point. So if you were to imagine, like, just assuming that you understand that it's a projection, if you were to move that projection through a plane, what it would start out with would be a point. It will grow into a circle, and then as it goes back up, it'll shrink into a point, and then it will disappear. So I understand it from, mapping something from 3 dimensions to 2 dimensions. And I think it's much the same way for 4 dimensions. You do the same thing, but you just do it for every dimension. And then when I know that, if we had something, a 4-dimensional object, its projection would be a 3-dimensional object. So this is why it's so hard for me to think about, like, for instance, I know what a sphere looks like. I know what a ball looks like, but I cannot imagine, like, I just can't comprehend what type of shape would result in a projection that is a sphere. I think I would need another 10 or 15 IQ points to even begin to comprehend how that even works. Yeah, look at this. It's just insane. Like, this is it's an attempt to show what it would look like, but even then, like, it's in 2D space, so it's hard for me to put that back into somewhere else, mainly because I can only go up to 3 dimensions. Am I the only one? Am I? Maybe it's just me. All right, anyway, let me try to go back to this video.
And so the reason that people don't like you isn't necessarily got a whole lot to do with you. Of course, there are situations where people can like you, but you might actually be being manipulative or inappropriate. For example, psychopaths and sociopaths are typically very likable, lovable people, and they end up hurting people. It's more so about the intention, because it's easy to manipulate somebody to have them like you, but whether someone likes you or not does not determine whether or not you are in alignment or whether or not you have positive intention in this world. There's a lot of people that I might upset as I go about my day as a result of me standing in my sovereignty, standing in my truth, or perhaps asserting a boundary. Because when we assert a boundary, for example, if somebody wants to hang out with you but you just don't really feel like it and you say no, that might upset the other person. But that does not mean that you're a bad person, even though in that moment they may dislike you. They may be frustrated. They may make a complaint about you to another friend. The reason you made that decision to exercise that boundary was with respect to yourself. The intention was to respect and honor your own energy, and that's a beautiful thing. Now, the thing is, we can go about our lives and we can upset a lot of people.
I was hoping he would have more of the B-roll. It seems like it's going to just be more talking head. I don't have the attention span because I guess this doesn't resonate. It resonates with me from the standpoint of I'm already like this. So it's like, I don't know if there's any value in me just watching him talk. I was enjoying the first 2 minutes mainly because of his cinematography. I enjoyed that a lot. And I assume it's his. Maybe it's stock footage, but even if it is, like, he still made some really good selections. So I got to give him that. Have y'all heard of what's going on with the insurance companies and how they are selling? Well, not they are, but the car companies are selling your private data, and certain apps are selling your data to insurance companies, and they are building shadow profiles on everyone that, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing in our country. Unrelated though. Unrelated to everything. I forgot to mention, I got a new book today. I ordered it, I think yesterday. It's this right here. It's called Debt, First 5,000 Years. I just bought it, and I plan to go through it. It seems like it'd be interesting. There is another book that I read when I was in 10th grade. It's called Salt. It's the history of salt, and I'm not joking. It's literally called Salt, and it's the history of salt. Let me show that right quick. Actually, no, I don't want to do it here. We'll go to Goodreads. Wait, do I need to sign up now? Okay, I was about to say, man. I'm noticing that everything like requires an account now. Why do I need an account to do anything? Here it is, Salt, A World History. Yes, I read this as a 15-year-old kid. I was probably 14 actually when I read it. It was my first semester of my sophomore year. I was 14, and I learned a lot. Some as innocuous as salt. Graybar. Wait, who are we talking about? Graybar? He's good. RP though, or salary comes from salt. Yeah. Sal. Yeah, Sal. Salinity, all of that. Yeah. Who is Graeber? I don't know who that is. Oh wait, are you talking about this book? I don't know the author yet. I haven't. Okay, all right, my bad. I haven't read it yet. I want to be clear. I literally ordered it yesterday, and it showed up today. I wasn't expecting this book to show up today. I was expecting the thing that I actually ordered, because I went to Amazon. I rarely buy stuff off of there now, but I went to Amazon, and normally when I buy something, I'll sometimes just put one of the books that I have in my wish list. But this is a book that I recently heard of, and I was like, oh, let me go get this book. I thought this was supposed to be my floor cleaner. I ran out of the floor cleaner, so yeah, I was like, oh, I got to get some more floor cleaner. So I absolutely had to go to Amazon, because I'd be damned if I drive all the way the whole 10 minutes to Home Depot. That's too far. It's too much effort. So yeah, got the new book. I haven't opened it yet. Back to back, bro. Said we hitting that 4K. But this is my third stream actually. So back to back to back. In fact, I've already met here. I'll show this because this is something that I was trying to hit. I was behind, and y'all get to see my Twitch stream numbers, which are even worse than my YouTube numbers, which is why I'm like, I don't know. But the goal was to get to 200 stream hours, and here we are. We're at 200. So now that I'm at 200, I'm caught up to where I should have been a week and a half ago. By the end of this month, my target was supposed to be 233 if I'm going to hit the goal, which is 33 hours of streaming a month. But I'm going to try to overshoot that. So I'm going to try to get to about 240. And then next month, I'm going to try to keep it strong and do a couple of longer streams so that by August, maybe I'll have some leeway and only have about 100 hours to go. And if that happens, maybe I can start planning my vacation. So this is really in service of me being able to, I want to go to Japan. So that's my motivation to myself. Is like, I just need to fucking hit my goals, get the videos out, get the hours out. I think I had some, I want to say I had some writing goals too, maybe. I don't know. I had to go and look. But yeah, I'm just grinding, doing the grind. Maybe one day it'll pay off. Maybe not. I don't know. By the way, I'm getting close to my empire business, the 1,000 hours of streaming. So I started streaming about a year and a half ago. No, it's 2 years now. It's 2 years, almost 2 years. I started on Twitch, and I'm almost at 1,000 hours, which is, I think it's impressive because that's a tenth of a way to 10,000, and I think that 1,000 is infinitely more than most people. So it makes me stand out a little bit, even if no one watches. I have 1,000 hours, and I guess there's also this other bit. If you're watching this now, let's assume that I can keep this going, and in a year from now or 2 years from now, I a little bit more presence or whatever. Hopefully, y'all can take this as an example of like another instance of let's say someone sees some level of success, and then people come in right at that moment or after that moment, and they come in thinking that you've always been that way and it was just easy and that you didn't have to work. It's kind of cool that some of y'all are here now where you can see, it's a lot of hours and nothing still. Writing goals. Writing goals. So I was meant to write some blog posts about life or my thoughts or my, just basically start getting stuff out of my head and putting it in physical form so that other people can criticize it. Right. So just putting it out there so that I can, obviously people will shit on it, but that's fine. The goal is to learn from what they're saying. Feel like most people will set goals to be a subscriber count. Subscriber count don't matter. There was a point when I had over 50,000 subs on this channel, actually, years ago. It's been 15 years ago at this point. I lost most of them when I stopped posting. My last video, I think, was in 2009 or 10 or something like that. And then I didn't really do anything on YouTube at all until last year. So yeah, a long hiatus. Actually, one of my streams, one of my former subscribers and viewers, and we even collaborated on some stuff. He does music. He popped in, and it was really cool reconnecting with him. Cause I was like, oh man, it's so cool that some of the people from my past who I met through YouTube and we kind of built careers together, and I guess 10, 15 years later. Now I show back up on YouTube, and it's like the time never really went by. We just pick up where we left off. That's kind of cool. At least I think it's kind of cool. Wait, I missed the earlier comment. Hat trick? I don't know. Hold on, let's see. Did you specifically set the goal to hours because it's an input you can control? Yes, to an extent, right? For me, it's about discipline. 400 hours, it sounds like it's not that many, but over a year. Right? It sounds like it's not that many, but it's actually kind of hard because a lot of times I don't want to stream. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll be real. Most of the times when I start a live stream, I actually don't want to do it. I have to fight it to do it. But there is a book that I recommend everybody in my Slack channel read. I don't know if you were around, Pratik, when I said people to read this, but let me go to my link tree. I think I have it here in my recommend stuff worth reading. Let's see. I need to update this, by the way. I haven't done that yet. The War of Art, this book. So he frames, he gives a word to this concept, and it's called resistance. And the idea is that, anytime that there is something that's worth doing that could result in growth, that could result in you, actually meeting your goals, you're going to encounter resistance. And that's, stuff like I'm tired, or I'll do it another day, or it's just basically all the excuses, for why you don't do what you say it is that you want to do to get to where you claim that where you want to be. So for me, having the 400 hours is a quantifiable number, right? Like because I'm engineering minded, so it's like I want to be able to have a target to work to. So that, yeah, like you're right, it's something that I can control. That's a big one. But also it's something that it gives me just a number. It's arbitrary, but it gives me something to work to. The way I said it, by the way, was I tried to do 300 hours, and I set that after I was close to like 200. I was like, oh, maybe I can get to 300 hours last year. I didn't hit that goal. And, I also believe in growth. So even though I didn't hit that goal, I wasn't going to keep the same goal for this year. So I increased it by a lot and just said, you know what, like, I'll just have to get my act together and just do it, I guess. Which is a lot. Which if you look at some of these books that I recommend, or maybe not because they don't. Oh yeah. So if you see here, like part of it is just that, right? Like do the fucking work. Where is that at? That's one of my favorite books. I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Do the fucking work. Do the fucking. Sure. All right, fine. We'll just open up books maybe. I have this book. I bought this one on Apple Books. All. It's this book right here. Do the fucking work. Right. Stuff like this, like I'm very much into doing. That's always my attitude. Just instead of talking about it, just do it, So yeah, that's why. The other goal is the 50 videos for the year. And that's why you've been seeing more videos from me lately. I was just like, man, I don't want to have another year where I fail to meet my own goals. Cause how can you live with yourself if you set your own goals and then you don't do everything within your power to reach them? And I'll be honest, I know that last year I could have did more to meet my goals. Even though I went on, a few trips, there was no reason why after the trips or while I was doing the trips, I couldn't have, made an effort to make a video. I was supposed to do 24 videos last year, by the way, just FYI. I didn't do 24. So it's like I was supposed to do 24 videos and I had every opportunity to do it. I have a lot of footage. I had my cameras, and even when I'm out and about, I was just like, I don't feel like recording. I'd rather enjoy my time. And yes, it's great to enjoy your time and all that kind of stuff, but I also think it's great to meet your own goals. And I don't know if regret is too strong of a word, but I do wish that I would have pushed harder to meet that goal. Because, let's say even if it caused me to become tired or whatever, what I found is that I very rarely regret doing the things that I should do. Stated with this, the fact that I don't like streaming, for instance. It's only when I'm thinking about the act of streaming when I don't like it. Generally, after the stream, I never regret it. I'm always happy that I'm like, yeah, I did the stream. It's kind of like when I do my jump rope. Like most days, I'm not looking forward to it. Some days I am. But most days, I'm not like, oh, yes, I can't wait to go jump rope for 30 minutes. That's generally not how my mind works. But after I've done it, I'm actually really grateful that I did do it, But it's that resistance thing. And it's interesting because I've experienced this a lot, and I've always pushed through it, and I see what's happened, the results. But even though I have the results, sometimes I still don't want to do stuff. I'm sure you can relate to that, not wanting to do shit. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm the only one who's lazy. All right, let's see. There were some other things that was going on. I think I created a playlist. Or maybe not. Yeah, playlist. Yeah, here.
20s and 30s. Get to one of the.
I wasn't actually trying to play the thing. Oh yeah, here it is.
Welcome once again to Leto's Law.
This is the thing earlier. I know I'm all over the place, but I don't really have an agenda. By the way, if y'all want to go over, like, talk about certain things, feel free to bring up stuff. You know, I have all kinds of things I can go in on. Like, I have a book that I was told to read 3 years ago. I just ordered it. It came, I think, 2 weeks ago with one of my other packages. I'm sure y'all have heard of this one, The Innovator's Dilemma. This is actually something that I think I'm actually ready to read it now. When I was first recommended, actually, no, it's been longer than 3 years ago. Never mind, I'm lying. Oh man, where's the time going? I think it's been 5 years at this point that someone recommended that I read this. And I think it was at the beginning of, like, I was thinking about starting a company at that time, but I hadn't actually started it. Now I think this would probably be a better read now because I have the experience of, having started a company and money and failing and doing something else. And also the time of reflection. So this could be, a good book for me now. Like I'm a big believer in, sometimes you have to be ready for knowledge. You can learn something too early and it doesn't resonate because you just don't have the experience of it. And then the other book that I have, and this one is, I don't know. I think I got this a long time ago. I don't remember, but I'm just going back over it. I'm doing a review. It's just like a deep learning thing. And this is I wouldn't recommend this actually, maybe I would. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I would recommend it to someone who doesn't know anything about it, maybe. Let me see. It's hard to say if I would recommend this if you don't already know a little bit about deep learning, because I already knew some things about it. And I'm using this as a review to kind of like get back up to speed. And, it's also a great way for me to get back up to speed with the language and some of the tooling that's available. Now, I don't remember when this book was published, so I don't know if it's using the latest stuff, but I think that's okay. Maybe. All right, so I'll go ahead and jump in the video.
Steve, check out this story. It's kind of a follow-up to one we did recently about your car and or your phone spying on you and then passing information along to somebody else. So from the New York Times, Kashmir Hill wrote this. Is your driving being secretly scored? Because you have a credit score. What about your driving score?
Wait a minute. Maybe I don't want to. Okay. I thought he would show. I haven't watched this, by the way. I was hoping that this would show the articles. I'm not trying to watch Talking Heads. I'm sorry.
Welcome once again.
Yeah, so we won't watch that one. The hell? Passport bros are just weak men. Interesting. Huh, okay. As someone who's filled up 3 passports, I disagree. I'm fairly strong. I would say that based on my stats, my gym stats, even in my week, I'm weak as fuck right now. I'm still stronger than 98% of humans. Probably more. Because I don't think most people can bench press their own weight, can squat over their own weight, and can deadlift over their own weight. I don't think most people can do that. And I can easily. Like, I weigh 210. To bench press 210 is nothing. Nothing. Same thing with squat. To squat 210 pounds is nothing. That's literally warm. I do squat jumps with that shit. It's not that heavy. Or deadlift. It's like 205 pounds on deadlift is kind of light as fuck. It's not that heavy. Now, I don't know. I wonder if one of these people would say that to my face without the backing of the United States government. If we just remove that government, would they say that kind of shit to my face? I doubt it. I'm bigger than most people on Earth, and I'm stronger than most people on Earth. And I understand this. I'm also faster than most people on Earth. So it's just like, I don't know if I'm weak. If we were out in the environment and they, that saying survival of the fittest, I'm pretty sure I would survive longer. Just saying, just saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being, what's the word? conceited, just arrogance, and I don't have the metrics to prove some of the things that I'm saying. By the way, I did a DEXA scan. Have you ever heard of a DEXA scan? These things, DEXA scan. There's a clinic right next door to me. Here you see. So it's body composition. It shows you your. Here, let me do DEXA scan Houston, because there's one literally right across the street. Yeah, this one. So this is the clinic where I went to. It's literally, I can walk across the street. It's 3 minutes away. I have 2 of them that I have. I've only done one so far, but the I don't know what you call these people. I'm gonna just call it the nurse, because I don't know what you call these types of people. But when they did my scan and they came back with my results, and I'll have to go and find it, my bone density, and they were just like, they've never seen someone with this high of a bone density. My bone density was 5 standard deviations, 5 sigma above the mean. So I don't know. I got strong bones. So I made a joke, and she laughed her ass off when I said it. I was like, "See, I really am big bone," and she. I think that made her day. Because you know how a bunch of fat people, I'm not actually fat, but a lot of fat people, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm not fat, I'm big bone," or at least that's what they say where I'm from. All the women, they're just like, "I'm not fat, I'm big bone." It's like, and not really. And then I was like, I said the same thing. I wasn't fat, but I was just like, see, there really are big bone people, and she couldn't contain herself. I forgot her name though. It's been a couple years or a few years since I went and did it. I should do it again though. I feel that. I'm not sure what we feeling, but I'm going to say cool. That's good actually. Really healthy indicator. Oh yeah, the bone density. Oh, and dude, she even asked. She's like, "You must have drank milk growing up," and I was like, I hadn't drank milk since like, I think the last time I remember drinking milk, I was in daycare. Yeah. Or second or third grade. I think that's the last time I remember drinking milk. And I was like, nah, I don't drink milk at all. Not since I can't drink it anymore. And she was just like, how could your bones? And then I got like, this is where the argument, cause I was on debate, by the way. And she said that, and I couldn't help myself. I was just like, there is no correlation between drinking milk and bone health. And that's all propaganda. And she was like, oh, I was like, well, there are all these other countries where people don't drink milk past a certain age, and somehow they have, they're all strong, they all grow tall. It's like, it's not milk. I'm like, that was just propaganda. And I don't know if she believed it, but no, I was just like, yeah, drinking milk has nothing to do with bones getting strong. I'm just like, that's the dumbest thing ever. But we're easily fooled here in our country. Thanks to our education system, we're not the brightest. I have noticed a significant drop in the level of intellect and discourse in our country. For instance, let's go. We're all over the place, but I don't care. Let's listen to Malcolm X. He was on NBC, I think. Malcolm X, NBC. I think it was NBC. He did an interview with let's see. Let's say interview. Is it this one? Yes.
Today, in our discussion of minority groups, we have with us...
For what it's worth, I want to be 100% clear. Malcolm X is one of he's one of the men who I grew up looking up to. I don't really care how you feel about him, or any other people who I looked up to. He's one of the people who I looked up to. Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King, Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass, all these people, there are many others. But just listen, we're not going to listen to all of this, but just listen to how they speak.
Two guests.
Oh, by the way, this is in the 60s. This is pre-civil rights, the Civil Rights Act, right? So this is when it was actually racism in our country, So, we got a white guy surrounded by 2 black men. And then I imagine with probably 95% certainty that the rest of that audience and the camera crew are all white. No other minorities, just, these 2 black men. But let's go.
One is Minister Malcolm X. Shabazz, one of the top leaders of the Nation of Islam, or the so-called black Muslims. And we also have Mr. Herman Blake, one of the teaching assistants in the course. We will discuss today some of the goals and some of the strategies of the Nation of Islam. And I wonder if Mr. Blake might start it off by asking Mr. Shabazz a question.
Just in this intro, this is night and day to the bullshit that we have on mainstream media. Civil discourse. I don't think that that's the goal of mainstream media. It's to create division and divide and to make money. I don't know what led to the decline. I'm not that old, believe it or not. I'm not that old. I was born in 89. So the decline was happening basically at my birth, like it predates me. But let's see. Let's hear the first question, and then let's hear Malcolm X speak.
Minister Malcolm, the thing that I thought might be good for starting it off is to talk about one of the most pervasive beliefs in the general society about the Nation of Islam, and that is that it is an organization dedicated to the use of violent means to attain its goals. The question I have is, how true is this, and why do you think it persists in society?
Okay, I want to just take a second to, I guess, analyze how he asked that question and kind of compare and contrast to how that question would probably be asked today. Notice he said that, it seems to be that the case that it's violent or whatever, right? I'm gonna paraphrase it. You can listen to it on your own if you want. I'm paraphrasing. It's like, it seems to be that's the message. And instead of saying why is that, he says, what do you believe people think that's true? Like, why do you think people think that's true? It's a nuanced question, which isn't finger pointing, and it's not blamey, and it's not a trap. It's very real. Like, let's play it back a little bit. Let's go back.
Starting it off is to talk about one of the most pervasive beliefs in the general society about the Nation of Islam, and that is that it is an organization dedicated to the use of violent means to attain its goals.
So right there, he said that it's the belief that that's the case. He didn't say it is. He said that's the belief that is, all right?
The question I have is, how true is this?
I love that question. How true is this? And the fact that he took some time to think about how to phrase the question. I don't know if we have that these days with, these highly produced shows that, we have to get to the commercial break as quickly as possible because that's really the whole point of the show. It's not the show. It's so that someone can advertise to you so they can make money. But let's.
And why do you think it persists in society?
Well, the Muslims who have accepted the religion of Islam and follow the religious guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad have never bombed any churches, have never murdered any little girls, as was done in Birmingham, have never lynched anybody, have never at any time been guilty of initiating any aggressive acts of violence during the entire 33 years or more that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been teaching us. The charge of violence against us actually stems from the guilt complex that exists in the conscious and subconscious minds of most white people in this country. They know that they've been violent in their brutality against Negroes, and they feel that someday the Negro is going to wake up and try and do unto them as they have do unto the whites as the whites have done unto us. We aren't a violent group. We do we are taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to obey the law, to respect everyone who respects us. We're taught to display courage.
I love that right there. I ain't gonna, like, this is kind of the way I was raised in an environment that's kind of like this, where it's like you respect people who respect you, right? And he makes that clear. But just notice how he speaks, right? Like it's so different when, I don't know, the leaders actually believe in what they say and they embody it, right? Like it's
courtesy.
We're missing this.
But we're also taught that at any time, anyone in any way inflicts or seeks to inflict violence upon us, we are within our religious rights to retaliate in self-defense to the maximum degree of our ability. We never initiate any violence upon anyone, but if anyone attacks us, we reserve the right to defend ourselves. So to accuse us of being violent is like accusing a man who is being lynched, who is being hung on a tree, simply because he struggles vigorously against his lyncher. The victim is accused of violence, but the lyncher is never accused of violence. And I only point this out because the various racist groups that are set up in this country by whites and who have actually practiced violence against blacks for 400 years are never associated or identified or made synonymous with the term violence. But whites speak of Muslims almost synonymously with violence. Whenever Muslims are mentioned by them, violence is brought up, but it's not connected with any other group. This is a sort of a propaganda tactic, or what I would call psychological warfare, to in some way make the image of the Muslims in this country be a violent image rather than a religious image.
Notice how they let him finish. He was calm the entire time. There's no yelling. There's no just interrupt. There's none of that bullshit that we have today. And note also that in 1963, in 1963, he's having a conversation like this comfortably. You can tell he's relaxed. He ain't giving a fuck. I know they're like, he's relaxed. We can't have this kind of conversation today, right? This is 1960s. Just keep that in mind. A black man, part of the Nation of Islam, which was a group that was not liked, and I mean, you can see what they did to him if you don't understand that. They're not liked, and even still, he's able to go and have a civil conversation. So even the guy, even when he was saying the things, the host, who I think I'm going to assume he's white, he didn't get all butthurt. He wasn't like hooing and hawing. He was just listening. It almost with the intent, it seems like with the intent to understand, which is what a lot of these virtue signalers are doing these days, where they're saying that that's what they wanted, but reality, that's not actually the case. So where have we gone wrong? We don't have people like him anymore.
Ask a question in that regard. What's interesting is that members of the Nation of Islam have not used violence even when black Americans were attacked. How do you account for this? Does this in any way contradict some of the basic premises of your movement?
I don't know how.
Do you see what he did? Did you get that question? I'll do it. I'll go back so you can.
Have not used a question
rather than a religious image.
I'd like to ask a question in that regard. What's interesting is that members of the Nation of Islam have not used violence even when black Americans were attacked.
Right there, like he's bringing a fact. you know, that they haven't done this thing. And then he's asking based off of what Malcolm X just said, which is, you know, they reserve the right to defend themselves or, you know, to basically use violence. And he's asking, okay, well, you know, there have been violence used against you and blacks. Why haven't you responded back with violence? That's I don't know. This is just, for me, when it comes to what I wish we had in our country still today, like we're missing it. But that right there is a question. Because it's not a bad faith question, and I noticed that we get a lot of bad faith questions these days. He's asking a question in good faith, and he's not, you know, trying to. It doesn't seem like he's trying to diminish the principles that they have. Let's keep going.
How do you account for this? Does this in any way contradict some of the basic premises of your movement?
I don't know how you mean.
Well, you maintain, for example, that you will not or that you should not use violence unless you are attacked by the white man. And I think we can note in the last several years, certainly, dozens and dozens and dozens of instances in which Negroes have been attacked, killed in some instances.
You mean in these demonstrations?
These demonstrations and the bombings, for example, recently in Birmingham where they killed 4 little Negro girls. And what interests me is the fact is that the Nation of Islam has not done anything to retaliate.
I think you should be happy.
No, the important thing is, does your lack of action contradict any of your basic principles?
I'll explain it. You should be happy that Muslims who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, number one, don't believe in any form of integration, and believe that every mention of the word integration by whites, whether it be from the mouth of Kennedy on down to the mouth of the lowest, raggediest white liberal in the street who is beatnik like.
By the way, I want to make sure that we're clear here. Dr. Martin Luther King came around to this line of thinking before he was assassinated. In fact, shortly after he started, once he realized that Malcolm X was right about the whole economic, they differed on the notion of integration. Martin Luther King was like, we should integrate. Malcolm X was like, hell no. That was the main thing that they kind of they parted ways on. But Malcolm X was always talking about economic stuff, whereas Dr. Martin Luther King, he didn't start off talking about economic things. He was just talking about like, you know, we need to be equal. You know, like we have the same rights, the same civil rights. Later on, he came around. He's like, you know, without the economic part, like, you know, the civil rights are useless. And, you know, he wrote a paper or speech. Yeah, and then they killed him. And what's interesting is, I mean, y'all may not notice this, but I mean, we in my community, we definitely notice it. Anytime there is a person who's, you know, in like a leadership position, who's, you know, they have a lot of a following and they start to wake up to those types of things, they end up going. It happens a lot in the music industry. You know? It happens a lot in the music industry. It's ironic that every time, you know, certain people start talking about ownership of their own work, their masters, you know, not wanting to deal with the record labels and start talking about how other people can go independent and showing them how they can also go independent. What ends up happening is they die. Seriously. And this is a thing that's been going on for decades. So it's not just recently. This has been going on for decades.
In these integration efforts, if we believed in it, we would integrate, and we would fight anybody who got in our way or made any effort whatsoever to stop us from integrating. Mm-hmm. If we really believed that the law of the land, the Supreme Court, and other so-called judicial bodies were for real when they talked about integration, we would integrate. And knowing that the law was on our side, and any effort we made to demonstrate toward integration, why, we would know the law should be on our side, if it's the law of the land. If it is the law of the land, then the demonstrators are within the law, and the discriminators are against the law. Mm-hmm. But to show you the hypocrisy of the law, when Negroes demonstrate for integration, instead of arresting the discriminators, the law arrests the demonstrators. So this is a foolish move on the part of Negroes. And when you foolishly get yourself involved with an enemy, then whatever comes upon you, that's your business. As Muslims, we believe that separation is the best way and the only sensible way, not integration. And but on the other hand, when we see our people being brutalized by white bigots, white racists, we think that they are foolish to allow themselves to be beaten and brutalized and do nothing whatsoever to protect themselves. They are foolish. They should have the right to defend themselves against any attack made against them by anyone. If a dog is biting a black man, the black man should kill the dog. Whether the dog is a police dog, a hound dog, or any kind of dog. If a dog is sick on a black man, when that black man is doing nothing but trying to take advantage of what the government says is supposed to be his, then that black man should kill that dog or any two-legged dog who sicks the dog on it.
Should other black men help that particular person who was attacked?
I think you'll find, sir, that there will come a time when black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves.
I hope that, man. This is so long ago, but I hope that one day comes to be true. Yeah, we're not there yet, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know. We'll go on. But yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, the eloquence is just next level. And it's not just him. Right? There are others. Let's look at our least favorite president. He gets demonized a lot. Nixon speech.
To begin with, memory as a do you have a first conscious memory?
Actually, no. Let's go to his "I'm not a crook" speech when he got basically before he resigned.
Life. I have never profited from public service. I've earned every cent, and in all of my years of public life, I have never obstructed justice. And I think, too, that I can say that in my years of public life, that I welcome this kind of examination, because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got. President? Yes.
That right there, I don't think that we would have someone like, just think about what he just said. He's like, you all need to know these things. So like, you all need to do the investigation. I don't think any president now would allow any type of investigation. That's number one. But number two is he didn't attack anyone. He didn't deflect. He kept it all on him. Because, it's his responsibility. And what happened to that? What happened to, not, trying to shift blame or point like, and this is who's considered like he's not one of our worst leaders, but like, he's one of the ones who he's infamous. How about that? He's infamous. So we went from him to Bill Clinton, who's like, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Like, come on, bro. I ain't gonna lie to, I like Bill Clinton. He was slick. He's playing that saxophone. Any man who plays a sax, you already know he's got some riz. Here, let's look at Bill Clinton saxophone. Y'all didn't even know this, did y'all? This is him right here. You remember, maybe y'all don't, we used to have presidents who had talent. What happened? I don't know. I don't know what happened. Like, Bill could play. We used to have an actor. You know, he was an actor. He was, you know, he wasn't too bad. We had a guy who was really into hunting. I'm not saying I'm into it, but you know, the guy who gave us our national parks, or who, you know, made sure that we protected certain lands in our country so that we can see it in its original beauty. That's something that I want to do. I need to take more advantage of that. I haven't been to that many of our national parks. I've only been to a couple. There is a national park here in Texas that I want to go to. I'm trying to pull up. I guess I should just open it up the normal way. It's Big Bend National Park. So I did plan to go there. I had, you know, my TRX, which I was like, yes, perfect. And I had planned to take my motorcycle up there so I could do some riding. And yeah, then it got stolen. Oh yeah, here is Big Bend. Let's see if we can do, nope, there's no look-sees we can do here, unfortunately. No look around. All right, we'll just look at it here. Big Bend.
Big Bend National Park in 800 in a remote part of western Texas. Due to its location, it doesn't receive as many visitors as other national parks, but it's well worth the effort it takes to explore. The park has sprawling desert.
Yeah, I would love to go. It's just so far. It's like really, really far. So I can't take a Tesla there, which is what I have now. We go look at the map. We'll see here that it's not. That's not even the right Big Bend. Big Bend is over here, down in this area. Let's see, Big Bend National Park. There we go. All right. So it does have pictures. Okay. Can we make this bigger? Maybe. I guess not. Okay. So if I do go, this will definitely be a photography and video trip. And I guess I would want to go and like really, really put effort into capturing this, because it'll be the first time I've ever gone to a national park in my state, which I think this is the only national park in Texas. Or maybe there was another one, but I think this is the only one. But yeah, I really want to go. But it's so far. Oh, I was supposed to show how far it is. So here's Big Bend. The closest city, and it's really not that close, is El Paso. And even El Paso is like 6.5, 7 hours away. Now, I live in Houston, way the hell over here. And to get from here to El Paso is about 12, 13 hours. To get from here to Big Bend is about 10 hours. Or maybe 11. Let's see, Big Bend. Can we get directions? Maybe that's. All right, fuck it. I guess. Wait. All right, never mind. It's too much effort. Yeah.
You make your way up through the sparse trees towards the mountains ahead of you.
My one fear about doing this now is all of the illegal aliens who are crossing into our country. That would be my biggest fear. It's like, yeah.
Already taking a break. As you make your way up, there's some beautiful views through these little windows in the rocks out towards the landscape in front of you. It's interesting to have both cactus and trees with moss or lichen on them.
Those look like mesquite trees.
So instead we headed down to Panther Junction Visitor Center to see what they recommended we do. So we're gonna hit up the hot springs.
Oh, I didn't know they had hot springs.
To get to the trailhead, you have to drive a 7-mile rough dirt road. It was passable with a 2-wheel drive car when we came, but I imagine there's certain times of the year where it isn't.
This is why I'm very upset that my TRX was stolen, because this was one of the things that I had planned with that truck. Because I was like, when I bought the truck, I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do with a truck? And then I started thinking about all these off-road adventures I can do, and yeah, it didn't happen. anyways, I see it's just me here, so I'm going to go ahead and check out. I'll do another one of these, maybe not. Let's see. All right, y'all have a good one.